Finally, we have a new Hytale blog post. After 6 long months of waiting, we have a bunch of new gameplay to break down: images, mobs, mechanics, combat, AI, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Problem is, for eagerly anticipating fans, it's not all good news. Welcome back to Kweebec Corner. My name is Connor, and today on Hytale News Updates, we break down all the new gameplay footage and clips we got in the blog post, where the team also discussed where they've been this year, why they've been silent for 6 months, and what the plans for Hytale's future look like now, including a recalculated release window, changes to their launch plan, and clarifying tweets from the CEO himself, Noxy Woxy. First up, let's analyze those incredible combat videos we were shown. Stamina, blocking, special moves, and signature moves are all confirmed here. We see team member Buttercat demonstrating the one-handed sword, first showcasing the basic attack, which is a simple click. However, if done successively, it will vary your swinging direction each time with 3 different swings. From the right, from the left, and then striking from above like a combo of some kind. I wonder if blocking attacks like these will be a case of direction, having to face your shield the way that the enemy is swinging and such. We then see an example of a special attack, which when using a sword comes in the form of a charged lunge. All weapon types will likely have some form of special attack, making combat a lot more dynamic and strategic. We hear a signifying noise for this charge as Butter pulls back his sword and then dashes forward to knock the training dummy back. They even have a special noise so that the moves themselves become more recognizable to a player over time. Henceforth, a future Hytale Pro should be able to use sound as a way to get an advantage in combat. Special moves, which likely drain more stamina than regular attacks, are separate from signature moves, which you'll actually have to land blows or block incoming attacks to charge up. So just to recap, the sword has a regular attack when you click, or a successive attack when you click multiple times, a special attack for when you want to charge up, I assume by holding down the mouse or some kind of key, and then a charged signature attack, which charges automatically depending on how many hits you've had or blocks you've taken. We actually see a blue glint and a noise indicating that the sword has been fully charged after dealing with the last 2 mobs. For the one-handed sword specifically, the signature move is an area of effect attack that can damage multiple targets with a spin and then follow through with 1 extra strike to the adversary in front. While I am excited to see the rest of the signature moves for all the other weapons, I think this one's going to be really popular. The idea that you can just run in, clear out 2 bodyguards or minions, and then strike the boss where it really hurts, dealing your real target more damage. It's a cool playstyle. Of course, one-handed swords pair well with a shield, which we are told also drains stamina when used to block. This playstyle then comes down to stamina management, being able to strategize and decide when the right attacks are needed and when you need to defend. Very cool first video and a great insight. The second one sees Buddha performing another exercise routine or example of a dungeon run. He's in Zone 2 now rather than Zone 3, fighting with a mace. This time it's a 2-handed weapon, which strikes hard but slow, using up lots of stamina in the process. They also provide a knockback with their regular attack, unlike the sword where it's reserved for the special move. We'll get to the mace's special move, but first we're told that the mace also has a similar combo pattern to the sword, swinging left and then right successively. We're also informed, however, of an alternate attack. It seems to be similar to a regular attack, but used for a very specific purpose. The mace's alternate attack, for example, is a hilt bash, where Buddha smashes the hilt of the mace itself into the mob, providing an increased knockback and probably a broken nose. Following this, he charges the mace's special attack, likely by holding down the cursor like we mentioned, to completely knock a dummy out of the way. It seems maces are all about clearing space. Delivering one of these does also give us that familiar charging noise and blue glint, which means he must be ready for the signature attack. For the mace, it's a leaping slam that sends you up into the air and crashing back down to affect anyone in the area of impact, damaging them and knocking them back substantially. We even see this lovely blue and yellow glow coming from the mace as it crashes down. We're told then that maces are for pushing people around, for crowd control. The best mace wielders are also conscious of their stamina. By managing and positioning themselves correctly, they can turn the tide of any battle. We're also teased that daggers will act as the assassin-style weapon, favoring hit-and-run attacks, whereas battle axes are all about building damage through combos. But that's all we get for now. Exciting stuff though, seriously. We were promised a deep dive into combat, and they're finally breaking things down for us. Combat in PvE does seem great, of course, but if you're not fighting against real players, then will it feel like a challenge? Games struggle with creating the right AI for their player, but Hytale have seemingly created a pretty spot-on representation of theirs already. We're shown in this next Zone 1 clip as a drum of war beats on in the background 2 players fighting each other. Well, one is a player, the other is an AI-controlled avatar. Guess which is which? The team have clearly been working on their AI. Apparently it's even been able to best some of their top fighters. They want depth and variety in the way that we fight against the creatures of the world. Their combat action evaluator system is a fancy way of saying that each mob is going to fight with personality in mind. They will judge things like number of player and the actions they take before deciding which weapon to attack with, how to approach, and when to flee. Of course, this is all customizable. You can imagine a tiny mouse would flee at the sheer sight of you, but a larger boss may not even be intimidated by 5 fully armored knights outside his door. It may even cause him to get angrier. The team say they also intentionally incorporated a bit of fuzziness into the decision making of the mobs. Not every creature is perfect. They make mistakes too. They may not choose the right attack or right direction to take, meaning not all battles are predictable, and not all mobs act like mindless terminators seeking you out no matter the cost. It just doesn't stop when it comes to new footage. We finally get confirmation of what Hytale's been teasing for the last couple of months when it comes to character customization. With all the horns, elf ears, and strange combinations of body features, I was struggling to figure out if elves, horned demonoids, and humans were all completely separate. But in a bit of a lore dump, we're told that yes, while there are a few naturally occurring preset races, things like humans or even Kweebecs, the player themselves doesn't have to be limited to one or the other. The player is some form of ethereal being or avatar sent from another location. Because of this, they have the power to mix and match, customizing their own identity with features from the wider diversity of species and races in the realm of Orbis. You know for a fact that this is going to be a theory talk down the line, just you guys wait. Unconstrained creativity and self-expression is the aim here, the team say. They say you are free to mix and match basic components like faces, eyes, and hair, layer on additional fantastical elements like horns, pointy ears, or tusks, and then combine these with modern fashion, adventuring garbs, or cosplay. Next up, a new music track by Oscar Garvin known as Adventure and Chill was released along with the blog post. We can see that same elf we were just looking at, or well, maybe now I should probably say the same avatar, holding a new kind of staff we've not seen before. They're looking on, forward to the horizon as they dream of the adventure waiting ahead. That's pretty relatable, bro. Moving on, there was so much more than just these videos shown in the blog post. The Hypixel team leveled with us for the first time in a while, got real for a moment, and spoke to us honestly about not just what they've been doing, but what the plan is from here, and what to look forward to in the future. They start off by addressing the lack of communication again. It's been a period of significant change for the game and studio alike, expanding their sense of what Hytale can be as new people enter the project. They've moved away now from their exploratory approach, which they imply has been the case for some time, moving now into efficient, targeted production milestones. That means everything will be less free flow and more deadline. Parts of the game have already undergone radical change, and some established systems are now being expanded. They're bulking up the design and structure of the game so that they can make a strong contribution to the genre that surprises us all and is future-proof. This means their plans are more ambitious than ever, but getting it right involves experimenting, iteration, and change, which can be uncertain at times and presents delays, but they want to challenge their assumptions, acknowledging that they've not been as open as they once were as a team, and that they really needed this space to make the major decisions that were required of them. Of course, half a year is a long time to wait, we all know that, but they claim the reason that answers have not been more forthcoming is because until recently, they didn't have them. In their words, we have spent this time considering many possible approaches to launch, factoring in many different perspectives, doing a ton of research, and developing a better understanding of what we need to do in order to meet our goals. So what does that mean? Well, what they say in the next paragraph makes it pretty apparent. The game has several more years to go before it's ready to launch. They're not going to provide any estimated dates or launch windows again, but they can be sure the game won't be out until 2023 at the earliest, possibly even taking longer. Their reasons for this are that they've grown as a studio and now are much more capable. They're better at what they do, and so they want to make Hytale better as well, but that takes time. The other huge reason they confirm is that they are now developing Hytale for multiple platforms, both console and mobile. A huge announcement and something I know viewers and fans have been curious about for so long. We'll talk more about these implications in the future, but it will mean deconstructing and rebuilding the game to fit all of these platforms. A lot of extra work. Work which they're doing now to avoid it needing to happen in the future, after launch, when they're pinned down with the tasks of running and managing the game. They want crossplay, which means parity across the versions, being able to play with your friend on console while you're on mobile. This is a decision that needs to happen before the game launches, and doing it at all is going to be tricky. It's like they're just adding more and more to their workload. It seems that way, but in reality this does allow Hytale to reach a wider audience. They're not striving for perfection, they know what scope creep is and understand that at a point, a game does need to be considered done. It just seems that console and mobile did become part of that plan along the way. They once again acknowledge us that while they did warn us not to get hype, their lack of saying, well, anything did allow it to bubble back up and set us up for disappointment. Even so, they strongly believe that the choice to spend longer in development will serve the community best in the long run. It's worth reiterating that they are never going to release Hytale as a surprise, they'll always let us know when it's on the approach to launch. Of course, that was a lot, and this all did trigger many questions on Twitter, which Noxy was quick to reply to. Hopefully this answers some of your questions as well. Mine tweeted about the statement of 2023 and that it hurts. Noxy said, "Totally get it, it's been a tough journey of realization for us too." Legacy Gaming, close friends of the channel and the Hytale community as a whole, who first interviewed Noxy 2 years ago, claimed they've been calling this for a long time. The game wasn't close to release and that this huge reset of sorts is going to cut hard for fans. Noxy said it is reasonable and that they understand fans feeling this way. To some degree, this was an inevitable outcome. Canadian Flash came straight in with a great question: does this mean that the beta will be in 2023? Noxy stated that various phases of internal testing will be part of the plan going forward, but they're not getting anyone hyped for some kind of launch before 2023. In the Littlewood, another creator who has covered this game and even played the demo early on claimed his disappointment and fear that Hytale may not stay relevant, that it might not survive. Noxy was quick to state his understanding, but that he disagrees that they won't survive. The game isn't out yet, nothing has been sold, there's no early access, and that the decision they made was made with full context and care about what they thought would be best for the game. He said, "It's all good, we spent a lot more time writing the message than you had to react. We've known as an outcome of this announcement that some people will forget about Hytale, and we've made our peace with that. It's been difficult mentally as we realized the implications, and as fans you're afforded the same right for it to be difficult for you emotionally." Noxy says, "I still remember showing you the earliest prototype in a hotel room in 2015, so you've been with us almost longer than anyone, probably one of the first 5 people in the world to see it. You've been nothing but a supporter and you sat on that secret for 3 years. Heck, we've been very friendly outside of that, so I just want you to know zero offense was taken and I appreciate all you've done both pre and post announcement." Noxy finished off the statement by saying, "I've never once refused to play a game before because it was late. Despite the pain I felt, I hope this community will be the same." Obviously, some people were pointing the fingers at Riot. One user commenting that no one wanted Hytale on mobile and that Riot are just trying to appease other markets. Noxy reassured us that Riot has no authority or decision-making influence on this whatsoever though, and have been super supportive even despite the crazy journey the game's been on. Hypixel Studio made this call, and they alone. We have to remember we still did just get a lot of updates, so some people were melancholic, a little sad, but understood why the game was going to take so long, that it was the right decision for the game and the studio. So what does this mean for us? Well, postcards are confirmed to be stopping, as they no longer act as a viable method of update. That's what the team says, but I do slightly disagree with this. I think the postcards really did get a lot of people excited each week. It was a great insight into the world, but I respect that they don't want to spoil things or show stuff in mid-development. It does slightly worry me though that they don't really want us to see the changes they're making. Hopefully though, it'll be worth the surprise when it all looks 10 times better when we get the next blog post. They say privacy was needed to make these decisions, but now the team can open up more and engage in the community again like they used to, with team members being communicative as they begin day-to-day work on the game. Blog posts will now be fewer but with substantial updates involved, similar to the one we got here. I'd probably put my guess on one every 6 months, but at this point I'm done guessing. And they finished by saying that they are once again thankful to the community for the intense enthusiasm expressed since the trailer. We are enormously grateful for that investment, and it'll be at the forefront of our minds when we're finally ready to share Hytale with you all. As for now, we're not going anywhere on this channel. Kweebec Corner is here to stay. I have so many plans. I've been working in and around YouTube for over 7 years. You think I'm just gonna stop posting? First up, this blog post is a hefty one, so bear with me while I truncate the information and prepare to fully analyze everything in the next few videos. Expect a Hytale Lock interview soon with gaming YouTuber and Disney star Parker Games, where we talk not just about Hytale, but the entire gaming and YouTube ecosystems. Something more relevant now that we know we have time to pass. Like I said, there will be a theory talk and even more shenanigans with all the amazing friends I've made so far in this 3-year wait of epic proportions. Continue smiling, thank you for liking, subscribing, and thanks as always for watching Kweebec Corner. Stay safe and keep free.